The 6 o'clock news starts right now.
Shot by police, but should he have even been on the street? Tonight, we're learning more about the armed teenager killed in a shooting at Market Square during Fiesta.
He's 18-year-old Mikey Valdez. Records obtained by KSAT Investigates show that he had 5 pending warrants and was also out on bond for 3 other charges. Now, KSAT was there for his most recent arrest. This is video that you're looking at here that was shot on April 10th. And it was Valdez being arrested for a string of burglaries at La Cantera and also the Rim.
At the time of this arrest, Valdez had 3 warrants for unauthorized use of a vehicle, unlawful carry, and theft of a vehicle. He posted bond a day later on all 3 charges, which were pending at the time of his death. Now let's go back to April of 2023. Court records show Valdez avoided conviction in 2 other burglary of vehicle cases after he accepted deferred adjudication in a separate juvenile case.
So that agreement with the Bexar County DA's office opened the door for Valdez to post bond on his 2024 arrest. So that raised the question, why wasn't he behind bars at the time of his arrest? Well, we took that very question to SAPD Police Chief William McManus.
You know, my position is that, you know, you break the law, you commit a crime, you need to be held in jail, especially a violent crime, or especially if you're a serial car burglar or car thief. I mean, you need to be held in jail. Otherwise, it just continues.
Now, we mentioned Valdez had 5 pending warrants at the time of his death. Those warrants were for burglary of vehicles, 2 charges of theft of a firearm, possession of a prohibited weapon, machine gun, and possession of marijuana over 4 ounces. 4 of those warrants were felony offenses.
Now, we also looked into the past of the other man who died, 20-year-old Albert Cisneros Jr. And from what we can find, Cisneros didn't appear to have a criminal record in Bexar County. We also asked Chief McManus about who shot the 4 women who were injured. Now, he tells us that SAPD is still working to determine that.
Nearly 2 months after a 17-year-old girl was found with signs of being strangled and possibly a victim of sexual assault. Yeah,
police have arrested a juvenile suspect on charges of capital murder. Our John Paul Barajas joins us live where Caitlin Hernandez's body was found.
Since Caitlin's body was found underneath this bridge back on March 12th, a large memorial has grown. And this right here is what the Hernandez family has been preaching ever since. You can't hide forever. And that message came true today. And not only is the suspect a minor, he's also said to be a friend of Caitlin's and the last person she was seen with.
We want him to be served as an adult, not as a child. Why? Because what he did to Caitlin, the gruesome act, the gruesome violence that he left my niece in, he deserves to be punished as an adult, not as a child.
Now, because this suspect is not an adult, SAPD is not releasing his name, but Caitlin's family says he is a 15-year-old, someone Caitlin had been friends with for 2 to 3 years, and someone Caitlin trusted. According to police, when they initially questioned the minor, they didn't have enough evidence, but DNA tests and other evidence have now linked him to Caitlin's death. Back on the night of the murder, Caitlin had left home to go on a walk with the suspect. Police believe Caitlin was strangled and possibly sexually assaulted. Tonight at 10, we'll hear more from the family and how they want Caitlin remembered and how her dreams and goals were cut short. John Paul Barajas, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, John Paul. Now let's switch over to Adam Caskey with the weather situation, which is a little unsettled. I think Sarah Spivey on Monday called it messy.
Yes, I think that's a good term for it, unsettled and messy, partially because we're in a situation where the mechanism that develops storms is not very well defined. So it's not a situation where we can say, hey, a line's going to develop. It's going to be here at this time, there at that time, etc. These are just randomly developing pop-up showers and thunderstorms. Looking closely in and around San Antonio, a little bit of development. Most of it has been on the east side and southeast side of town, and a few little downpours here and there. Not a whole lot of activity right now over Bexar County. One downpour right over I-10 near the rim and just north of the rim. That's likely to cause a few slick spots, of course, and some water on the roadway for the evening commute here. But most of the rain so far, and the heaviest rain, we had a few heavy batches move through the north side of town and now into Kendall County, Kerr County, moving into Gillespie County. It's actually just a few miles away from Kerrville. Looks like Kerrville, you'll just get clipped by some of these downpours here, and you'll take whatever you can get. But assuming this stays on its little northwesterly trajectory, Kerrville 6:19 p.m., you'd have that downpour there. We're going to talk more about the rain chances through the night, primary threats for severe storms as well in just a bit.
All right, thank you, Adam. We've got a look downtown right now, or near downtown, I-10 at Frio. And you can see as I-10 winds into downtown, the upper and lower decks come together. That's usually when the traffic stalls out, and it's definitely slowing down right now. Again, these are the eastbound lanes of I-10 at Frio.
Now, new video shows the moments leading up to a DPS trooper shooting and killing a man in Converse. A witness took this video that you're looking at here on Monday on Loop 1604 and FM 78. Now, right now, we want to be totally transparent. We paid to use this video, which is something we don't normally do. We decided this video is important for you to see because it raises questions about accountability and de-escalation tactics. DPS says that a trooper shot 37-year-old Luis Navarro after an attempt to tase him didn't work. Investigators say that Navarro led the trooper on a chase after failing to pull over. The woman who shot this video says that Navarro swerved around her before crashing, and she tells our Daniela Ibarra that she feels like the shooting needs to be investigated further.
Do you think that this shooting was justified?
I personally don't.
Why?
I don't think that the guy was, or I don't think the cop was in danger of his life. I understand that the guy wasn't obeying his commands, but I don't believe that shooting him right in the chest helped the situation.
We asked DPS for an interview. They declined. The video doesn't show if Navarro had a weapon, so we asked DPS about that, but a spokesperson says the agency isn't sharing more information about this. KSAT requested a copy of the body camera video.
Bexar County Sheriff's detectives hoping one phone call will change everything when it comes to a death investigation. They are looking for clues about the death of a woman found in West Bexar County this morning.
Her body was on the side of the road near Highway 90 and Highway 211. Katrina Weber tells us why investigators aren't yet ready to call this a murder.
Sheriff Javier Salazar told us that the woman's body did appear to have some trauma, but he says it's too soon to tell whether that may have been perhaps from her being hit by a car or killed and then dumped here. He says they're still working to find the answer to that question and more, including who this woman was.
The only information about the woman's identity so far is that she was in her 30s or 40s. Deputies shut down the road alongside Highway 90 near Highway 211 as they search for evidence. The sheriff says a girl on her way to high school before 9 this morning looked out from her school bus and noticed the body among some trees. He says the girl then called her mother, who went to the scene, verified it, and called 911.
I commend the young lady for having the presence of mind to say, I better call this in, I need to call my mom, and certainly applaud the mom for not just disregarding, something that could be an outlandish type story.
Sheriff Salazar says the woman found dead has a distinctive tattoo on her left forearm. It has a floral theme in black ink with no coloring. He says the woman was wearing black yoga pants with shorts on top and a blue paisley print shirt. She has black hair pulled into 2 pigtails high on her head.
The sheriff says he's hoping that someone might recognize that description, either of the clothing or the tattoo, and then give them a call. If you know anything about this case, you're asked to call the sheriff's office at 210-335-6000. Reporting from West Bexar County, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Tonight, another teenager has been arrested for allegedly shooting and killing a man during a gun robbery. Bexar County jail records show 18-year-old James Jose Garcia is charged with capital murder in the death of Stephen Gagne. Now, yesterday at 6, we told you about the other suspect also charged with capital murder in the case. He's 19-year-old Francisco Revelo Garcia. Now, according to the arrest warrant, Revelo Garcia and another person met Gagne on March 30th, to buy a gun. And police say that when Gagne showed them the weapon, one of the suspects then took it from him. Both sides then started shooting at each other. Gagne was taken to a hospital. That's where he later died. Police say that the unnamed suspect is a juvenile. Investigators say that Garcia admitted to shooting Gagne on an audio recording by a friend. And right now he's at the Bexar County Jail.
A former SAPD officer charged in the shooting of a teen nearly 2 years ago will head to trial in November. James Brennan, charged with deadly conduct with a firearm in the October 2022 shooting of Eric Cantu. Police say Brennan recognized Cantu's vehicle in a McDonald's parking lot from an evading arrest case the night before the shooting. Body cam video shows Brennan opening the door of the car Cantu was in, and just seconds later, Brennan fires multiple shots as Cantu drives away. Brennan fired from the department. The prosecution requesting Brennan's psychological evaluation, but the city arguing that is off limits because in part, it's part of Brennan's personnel file. The judge is expected to rule on that issue. The trial set for November 12th.
Now, a convicted murderer just found out how long he's going to be in prison. That's Daryl Johnson. He was sentenced to 25 years in prison for the murder of Ramona Rodriguez in May of 2021. Prosecutors say that Johnson killed Ramona outside of a medical center apartment during an argument over a cell phone and a charger. Police say that a roommate heard the gunshots and found that Ramona had been shot. Judge Joel Perez sentenced Johnson again to 25 years in prison.
They can't believe that the system failed a service member this badly.
Failing a service member. Coming up in just a few minutes, servicemen and women are being denied the right to sue the federal government for military medical malpractice. Tonight at 6:30, KSAT investigates 2 veterans who suffered negligence allegedly at the hands of military doctors and their fight to get justice for others.
And also after the break, you see that right there? That's more than just a pile of old timber. There's actually a lot of history there. In a new History Untold, you're going to see how people are planning to use some of that timber to rebuild the first church in New Braunfels.
And taking a quick look outside with live cam meteorologist Adam Caskey, tracking some messy and muggy conditions out there. Heavy rainfall on the radar. His full forecast coming up.
Coming up tonight on the Night Beat, we're taking a closer look at the timeline of the deaths of both Savannah and Caden Krieger and how advocates are pleading for people across our city to prioritize their mental health in the wake of these cases.
New Braunfels trying to make the most of its German heritage in other ways beyond a Wurstfest. Its other claim to fame. There's historic Old Town, Heritage Village, even a museum of Texas handmade furniture.
All cool stuff. Now, Jesse Degollado says that giving visitors more to experience is really nonstop, as you're about to see.
Moving a 170-year-old house through New Braunfels didn't happen at hyperspeed, not even. It was no easy task. Neither will restoring the historic Broschler house to what it looked like when it was built in the mid-1800s. But that's what Heritage Village does. It brings back reminders of those early days when New Braunfels was a small German settlement.
How old must these timbers be?
The timbers are all that's left of the town's oldest building. Its first German Protestant church, made of cedar logs, dating back to 1845. Even though the settlers were living in tents, they built the church in thanks for having survived their journey, arriving on a Good Friday. So they say these are much more than just a pile of logs.
It tells the story of the heartaches and the hardships of those early founders.
Their place of worship also became the heart of the community.
It was our first school, it was our first post office, it was our first district courthouse, it was our first hospital.
And eventually a barn after it was dismantled and moved to a family farm. Yet now there's $1 million fundraising campaign underway to build a replica of the church, in part by using as many of the original logs as possible.
The plan is to rebuild the church here, near the entrance to Heritage Village.
Preserving the past, like the Broschler house and the town's first church, is essential, they say, at a time of rapid growth. If not,
then, the German Texan culture and heritage will fade away.
In New Braunfels, Jesse Degollado, KSAT 12 News.
How cool.
Way more than just a pile of lumber out there.
Yeah, I can't wait to see when they finally actually rebuild.
Get it all done.
Nice.
Yeah, all right. So meanwhile, there are some rainstorms out there, Adam.
Yeah, and right now, that's just a good way to put it, rainstorms. There's heavy rainfall with thunder and lightning, but at any point, some of these that develop in the hours ahead could become strong to severe, with the primary threats being, as usual, localized large hail, maybe some wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour, and we even increased the flooding threat a little bit just due to the tropical nature of our atmosphere and how heavy the rainfall has already been, and especially when the showers follow each other, what we call training, then it could add up even more. So 40% coverage across our area at any given time through 11 p.m. That's for thunderstorms. And again, at any time with the significant instability in wind shear in our atmosphere, we could quickly have a strong to severe storm. Then after midnight, rain chances fall off, storm chances down to 20%. We boost the rain chances back up to 40%, so scattered in nature. Tomorrow morning, again, for the morning commute, that's going to be light activity. Get used to these damp mornings. It's going to continue to be a trend. So you look at radar right now, an authority radar, and not a lot around San Antonio, nothing on the south side. Downtown, we had a downpour earlier. Right now, the rain and the downpour is pretty much limited to northeast side of town. We're talking Windcrest up toward Wetmore and especially over toward Rolling Oaks Mall, Live Oak area, the big IKEA and whatnot, Madison High School. Just a quick splash and dash. That's all we have there right now. We're still awaiting the potential for a stronger and more organized storm to develop. But right now, this is all light activity. The heaviest action has passed through Kendall County, and now we've been clipping parts of Kerr County and Kerrville. Very illuminated. You can see all the lightning strikes here. I'm going to actually turn off the lightning. Now, these thunderstorms do stretch pretty high in the sky, but it's surprising that they're not actually producing much hail. You look at the 3D view, and when you analyze this, they're actually stretching up to about 45,000 feet in parts of the thunderstorm. But there's not a whole lot of hail within these storms. Typically, when you get to that 40,000 foot level, you really start to generate some hail depending on the atmospheric conditions and the thermodynamics. But we have a little bit of small hail here. This is just west of the city of Blanco. So that's in Blanco County, just moved into Blanco County. Just a little bit, not damaging. And I think one reason why we're not seeing the hail really develop is just the tropical nature of our atmosphere, which would tend to favor the flash flooding potential, which is one reason why we did increase that flash flooding potential. But more development just randomly scattered across our area, likely all the way through 11 p.m. It's not a very well-defined situation because we don't have a well-defined triggering mechanism like a cold front or even the West Texas dry line. We don't have that, so it's those randomly scattered pop-up showers and thunderstorms. But we are watching the storms along the dry line out west in West Texas. There could be some organization there and maybe some of it clipping parts of the hill country overnight, but that's a low-end chance there. So tomorrow, 72 in the morning, sprinkles, light showers, some drizzle. We get into the afternoon, 30% chance of a few thunderstorms. That goes into tomorrow evening. Still, storm chances exist. They're just on the low end in the days ahead because we'll have a pretty significant cap on the atmosphere. And like I said before, our triggering mechanism, not very well defined. So it's going to be hard to break through that cap. Mid-80s tomorrow, upper 80s this weekend, low 90s into next week. And notice those isolated storm chances lingering into the weekend and even Monday.
Now, I'm looking at that forecast and thinking that's not exactly good Gulf weather. My friend Larry Ramirez is here to talk to us about that. So you have a story that I'm really excited about because Gulf in the past hasn't really been seen as accessible to a lot of people, but that's changing now.
It's right, and that's what this Chips and Walk is all about. Now, this has been on our radar for a couple months. Mary Rominger was finally able to get out there and shoot this story. It's a women's golf social community, and it is awesome. Plus, the UIW artistic swim team won a national championship. Coming up.
We actually started in April a year ago with 3 members, so myself and 2 friends, and then it's grown to over 200 women golfers from San Antonio. Our name, Chips and Walk, really was born out of what we enjoy, which is social golf, golf in itself, and being outdoors and walking.
Jessica Ibarra is the founder of Chips and Walk, and it's a huge hit in big board sports. There's a women's social golf group taking over San Antonio, and it's pretty incredible what they're doing. KSAT 12 Sports' Mary Rominger caught up with them last week during their Fiesta on the Fairways event.
There's only one group in San Antonio capable of bringing this much color to your local golf course. Chips and Walk, not Chips and Guac, Chips and Walk is on a mission to make golf less intimidating for women of all backgrounds.
Ladies, I want to welcome you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for being here. The Chips and Walks is an interesting story. I used to be quite envious of my husband getting lots of steps at the end of the day. I would always ask him, how many steps did you get? He's like 18,000, 23,000, and I was getting 200. It's like, you have to walk. You can walk on the golf course. And so that really stuck with me. And so that's the walk part. And then the chip is because when you play the short game, you're actually just chipping on the green. And you put those together and it actually sounds like food, which is guacamole, chips and guac.
San Antonio's Jessica Ibarra created the Chips and Walk women's social golf community 1 year ago. It has since drawn over 200 women of all skill levels and backgrounds to social golf events, clinics, and even hangouts. And their motto is no clubs, no problem.
This is what we needed. I'm part of the running community as well. And running community is like a big in San Antonio, but golf right now is something that we actually needed.
Now, it's not always this colorful at a Chips and Walk event. This was the first Fiesta on the Fairways held during Fiesta. But golfing in this community isn't only about socializing. Connections like these could change your life.
It's also about making business connections, perhaps, maybe career changes, and exploring new ideas with people that you would not have otherwise met.
Chipsandwalk.com is how you can register for events. From Brackenridge Golf Course, Mary Rominger, KSAT 12 Sports.
Thank you, Mary. Love that story. Synchronized swimming is now known as artistic swimming, and the team over at the University of the Incarnate Word won a national championship. They were honored today on campus to commemorate their national title. This team is made up of swimmers from 8 different countries who all came together to achieve their goal of bringing a title back to San Antonio, but it wasn't expected.
We didn't imagine it was gonna happen. Like we were like looking for a lot of like, okay, let's go for conference and then let's have our routines on podium. But we never really thought about like, okay, let's win national championships. So we feel really happy about it.
And I would just encourage people to learn more about the sport, watch it on the Olympic Games, and find a club in your area if you want to. Come support us next season. We would love to have people out in the stands for us.
Pretty big moment for the Cardinals, since this is not only the first title for the program, but also the first national championship in Incarnate Word history.
Wow. I love that. And that takes some athleticism.
It really does.
Do artistic,
tough.
Synchronized, whatever you call it.
Yeah,
So
I would just sink to the bottom.
Yeah.
Coordination, teamwork.
Yes.
Got to give it to them.
You sure do.
Thank you. So coming up next, you're going to hear from 2 military veterans who say that they're victims of a malpractice from military doctors. KSAT investigates military malpractice and how those victims are fighting for justice for others after the break.
They protect our freedoms and fight for our rights. However, our servicemen and women are being denied a right that we as civilians all have. That is the right to sue the federal government for military medical malpractice.
In her final story for KSAT Investigates, Lee Waldman met with 2 veterans who say they suffered negligence at the hands of military doctors. And she also shows us how they're fighting to make sure that others have justice, the very justice they were denied.
Can I have you say and spell your first and last name for me?
Lauren Palladini.
My name is Des Del Barba.
2 service members, each sharing a heartbreaking similarity.
Had this happened to you when you were a civilian, would you have been able to file a medical malpractice?
I would, yes.
In 2019, then college senior Des Del Barba decided to follow his dream of service.
I applied for officer candidate school. I got accepted. And then I went to Fort Benning to do basic combat training.
He was only there for 35 days, but that would mark the beginning of how Del Barba's life would forever be changed.
I know in my company there was a little bit over 50 that had strep A.
His symptoms started with a sore throat. Doctors on base tested him for strep throat with a rapid and 24-hour test.
So rapid one came back negative. And then following the next day, the 24-hour one came back positive. However, nobody notified me
or his drill sergeants. Delbarba's symptoms got worse, and he went to the base hospital. He says doctors there never checked his strep results and sent him home with cough medicine. That was Saturday.
Early Monday morning, I basically started going into shock.
Left untreated with proper medications, Delbarba's strep throat infection worsened.
It turned into a fleshing disease called necrotizing fasciitis.
Then 21-year-old Delbarba slipped into a coma for 2 weeks before being taken here to BAMC. He spent 100 days in the intensive care unit, underwent 42 surgeries, and had his leg amputated. Skin was taken from his back and chest, placed on his lower half.
A simple penicillin shot would have avoided it all. When I tell a story to a civilian doctor or even my VA doctors, they can't believe it. They can't believe that the system failed a service member this badly.
I think sometimes when I talk about it, it's almost it's like an out-of-body experience.
Lauren Palladini has had the same reactions from her civilian doctors after a botched cesarean section by a military doctor at what was then called Fort Bragg left her unable to have more children naturally.
My husband, he's an only child, so the only thing he's ever wanted is a family.
Since when?
I found out today.
Congratulations!
After a normal pregnancy, then 22-year-old Palladini had to get a C-section because her birth wasn't progressing.
The only thing that we had been told at the time was that I had lost more blood in my C-section than normal, but they weren't concerned.
That was March 19th, 2019. 3 days later, on March 22nd, Palladini was home with her daughter when she started hemorrhaging.
When the EMS arrived, I just remember looking at them and they were she's critical condition.
The new mother was taken to the civilian hospital because Womack Army Medical Center in North Carolina couldn't take her. This was the first of many hemorrhages throughout the course of a month while hospitalized.
And I just looked at my husband and told him I loved him and to take care of our little girl because I wasn't sure that, I was going to come out of it.
Palladini had a hysterectomy to save her life.
Due to trauma sustained during C-section.
Now 5 years later, living in Bulverde, she's meticulously dug through her medical records and found something went wrong during her C-section.
My artery had been not fully severed, but nicked in my C-section.
An affidavit from a board-certified obstetrician and gynecologist echoes exactly that. Both Palladini and Delbarba were not able to sue for medical malpractice thanks to a 70-year-old statute.
The Ferris Doctrine is a 73-year-old law that protects the Department of Defense from service members suing them for medical malpractice.
In 2019, the Sergeant First Class Richard Steiskal Military Medical Accountability Act was introduced and later included in the 2020 National Defense Authorization Act.
It allowed us to file a claim against the DoD for medical malpractice or medical negligence.
However, the Defense Department is the agency investigating the claims.
I was denied initially in 2022. I was then again denied again in 2023.
They're not alone.
The data that we've seen, only 2% of cases have been validated or affirmed, and those victims compensated.
Congressman Joaquin Castro is co-sponsoring a resolution called the HEROES Act. The legislation calls for a third party to investigate claims of malpractice against the military, not the DoD.
They should not have any less rights than civilians would have if they suffered through medical malpractice. And yet right now, that's the case.
It helps service members like me, service members all over the country that have been affected to basically have a chance to get justice.
If I can prevent another woman from going through this with a DoD doctor, I'll keep fighting for that.
For KSAT Investigates, I'm Lee Waldman.
Right now, there hasn't been much movement on the HEROES Act. It's sitting in a Judiciary Committee. Castro believes it will be rolled into a larger piece of legislation known as the National Defense Authorization Act, which would be voted on later in the year. We'll follow it. We'll also be right back.
Keeping children in their community after they're removed from their homes. That is the point of kinship placements for foster kids, and that's letting kids stay with family.
Yeah, Courtney Friedman sat down with a kinship family who told her about the difference they believe they're making. It's part of our KSAT Community Spotlight this month on foster care.
But it's adorable to watch him with his little pole.
For the past 2 months, Sherry and Eric Thomas have been caring for a family member's child who was removed from his home.
We got a phone call on a Thursday afternoon, and Thursday night we were picking him up.
They've become what's called a kinship family when a child who has experienced abuse or neglect is placed with people close to them.
It can be someone that you have a significant, bond to, relationship with, family friend. It doesn't have to be blood relative.
Sherelle Herbert is the specialty director for foster care organization SJRC Texas, where she oversees kinship placements and supports families.
Talk with them and say, hey, what can we do to make this work?
Making kinship work can change a child's life.
We want these children, while their parents are working on things, to remain in their community, remain connected to those in their community, their school, their teachers, their relatives.
Each day it seems like it's getting better and better. I think his guard is coming down. I went and bought him a little fishing pole.
The bike has been.
Day, that's his thing. And so we go out on the back porch and he'll ride his bike.
The goal is always reunification with the parents, but in case that can't happen, they want to be set up for adoption. That's why kinship families are asked to get licensed, which can pull in extra benefits. 49% of foster care placements are kinship placements, and SJRC wants that number to be higher. Part of that is education about help that's available, which can include financial support or free coaching and therapies. This family is urging others to do it.
It's going to all be worth it in the end to know we gave him that chance and that opportunity.
Courtney Friedman, KSAT 12 News.
So if you'd like to learn more about becoming a kinship family, you can head on over to the SJRC Texas website. You can also help by participating in our phone bank. That is coming up on Tuesday, May 14th. You'll be able to call between noon and 7 p.m. to learn more about foster care. You can also ask questions and even pledge financial support during that live broadcast.
All right, let's move on over to Adam Caskey right now. And Adam, the question is, I've seen a lot of the storms moving to the north. Does that mean they're done for the night?
No, they're not done for the night, but I will be honest, we're not seeing as much development by now as we expected to see. So it could be an indication that they're still going to be holding off and then maybe just not popping up as expected in terms of widespread coverage. We're just seeing a few isolated showers out there. The heaviest activity now in Blanco County. That's where we have a severe thunderstorm warning. We'll take a closer look at that in a little bit. There's that hail core developed within that thunderstorm, and it's bigger now, just north of the city of Blanco. Some scattered showers and storms through the evening, I think up through 11 p.m. And then get ready for some more damp mornings and isolated storm chances in the days ahead. Anything that pops up could quickly become strong to severe. The primary threats we'll go over in just a bit.
Welcome back. So you were saying that there's a severe thunderstorm warning over Blanco.
Yeah, Blanco County, technically out of the KSAT 12 viewing area, but some of the folks up there actually do get our signal and they see us. So we'll cover that here in a moment. But I want to show you the photo from Nelson City earlier. Yay, rain. This is along I-10 between Bernie and Comfort. So this is a very welcome sight. And I know anything that develops this evening and into the early nighttime hours could become strong to severe and come at a bit of a cost, but at least there is some good, healthy rain within it. Here's a look at radar right now. You don't see much around San Antonio, just a few spritzes and sprinkles left over. That's what we have at the moment. Still the potential for the development, though, up through 11 p.m., I'm thinking. But right now in Blanco County, this is this thunderstorm we were looking at earlier, and it has strengthened a bit more within the center of this storm, just north of downtown Blanco. So we're talking west of 281, just a couple miles north of, let's go downtown Blanco, basically the courthouse. About 1.8 miles to the northwest is where we have the large hail core within this thunderstorm. And we can look at that hail core. It developed, and it could even have hail up to about the size of golf balls within it at the moment. This is the 3D view of the storm. You can see inside of it here and see kind of the structure around it. But what we need to do is isolate just the hail within this storm. And the purple area That's the hail. It stands out. It's a much bigger hail core now within this thunderstorm. And this goes to show how quickly things can change in these situations where, remember earlier I was showing you, a little bit of hail wasn't a big deal, but then it quickly intensified. And now we've got this big hail core stretching high into this thunderstorm, up to over 40,000 feet up into this thunderstorm, and dropping the large hail down just west of 281, north of downtown Blanco. And this is headed to the northeast at 17 miles per hour. So this is not heading towards San Antonio, but it's a good illustration of what can happen, of course, very quickly within these thunderstorms. Take a look at the 12-hour rainfall. That's 2 inches of rain, over 2 inches estimated in and around Blanco County, southern Blanco County there in the yellow area. Elsewhere, we've gotten some much needed rain from the heavy downpours, but notice how it's confined to areas basically north of Highway 90 and especially in Kendall County. That's a good thing because in Kendall County, that's where we have the drought, some of the extreme drought conditions. You look at the latest drought monitor and I can circle this red area for you and then switch it back over to rainfall totals and you'll see, oh my goodness. Come on, pen. I got the marker now. There we go. So this is the extreme drought area where we really need the rain more than anywhere else. That's circled. Now we switch it over to the 12-hour rainfall totals and voila, it's good to have that. It's good to see that. At least within the parts of the extreme drought, we've had some good rain. Whereas east of town, parts of the coastal plain, not even considered abnormally dry. All right, let's go through the primary risks. Localized large hail, a few wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour with any storm that develops through the evening and early night, and even the chance of some flash flooding. 40% chance through 11 p.m. After that, 20% chance. Tomorrow morning, 40% again. That's scattered, but for light activity. Just that sprinkle action, light showers, and especially drizzle. If we don't continue to see more development around here in the coming hours, I'm going to really shift my focus to the storms along the West Texas dry line and watch for organization. If that happens, then we could get clipped by some of that overnight tonight, especially into the hill country. 72 in the morning tomorrow, 85 in the afternoon, a 30% chance of afternoon and evening showers and storms tomorrow. Again, anything could be strong to severe this time of year and with the setup that we have. 20% chance Friday through the weekend, so just some isolated afternoon storms possible.
All right, Adam, thank you.
We'll introduce you to Cheeseball Man coming up in the buzz.
Stick around. Welcome back. So here, my friends, is a bird's eye view of a hawk and her hatchling nestling over a Texas highway. It's happening right in front of a Texas Department of Transportation camera in Irving. And if you look closely at the top right corner right here, you can see the highway traffic moving far below.
Yeah, maybe not an ideal location for a nest, but it's working. As you can see, the mama bird has one hawklet so far, one egg still in the nest. At last check, that egg hadn't hatched yet, but it could hatch at any time. All right, how many cheese balls could you eat in half an hour? Chances are not as many as a man recently did in New York's Union Square Park. Hundreds of people went wild to see the person known as Cheeseball Man.
There he is.
It's a good outfit to have so you don't get the cheese ball residue all over you.
You don't want
It's very practical.
Yeah.
Cheeseball Man ate 700 cheese balls in half an hour.
Now that was not so much a food eating challenge, really, as it was the creation of really an absurd and anonymous superhero with cheesy hands. Like after he ate his 700th cheese ball, he was swarmed by people trying to get an autograph. I mean, they condone this. Someone even traveled from Canada to see him compete.
Just more proof. It's not easy being cheesy.
We'll be right back.
Authority radar not picking up much around San Antonio. Just a few light little showers lingering, particularly on the north side of town. But you see the heavier rain has come to an end for now. We're still on the lookout for the potential for more development in the coming hours. But right now the action is in the hill country. And this is where we really do need the rain quite a bit. I mean, we could all use it, but it's good to at least see somebody getting some heavy rain, although it's coming at the cost in Blanco County with some large hail. Looking ahead, isolated storm chances each afternoon through the weekend.
All All right. Have a great night, and we'll see you here on the Night Beat.
Yep. See you then.